Hello, my name is Mary Jo Federley, and I had a spinal cord injury 8 years ago from a skiing accident. It left me as a high-level quadriplegic, and over the last 8 years I've done many things to enhance and improve my quality of life, and also have had amazing results with that work in terms of prognosis and what's normal for a person with a spinal cord injury. So my mission as the Quad Squad is to share that information with all of you. And right now we're going to be interviewing one of the prima caregivers who's been at this for over 20 years and has seen lots of things, and her opinions are really valuable, and I'm sure she'll be able to give you some insights and some new ways of looking at things. I'd like to introduce you to Ashala Yardley.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Hello. So my name is Ashala Yardley, and I have been working as a care attendant for over 20 years. I've worked with various different clients who have a range of disabilities, including cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, dementia, and Alzheimer's, and most predominantly working with people who have spinal cord injury, including Mary Jo.
And Ashala, you just came to work for me recently. We've known each other for years.
That's
but
right.
I haven't had the opportunity to work with Ashala, and a break came up in my schedule where I was actually going to go off to Project Walk and do some work, and she had an opening and things lined up. So in the end, she ended up coming here and seeing more of my day-to-day routine, and I think we're going to speak a little bit to that and just what makes really a day-to-day routine and how those kind of things can improve quality of life, and what she notices may be different from this situation and others that we might be able to help you with along the way.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to say that it's been absolutely a delight coming and working with Mary Jo. In terms of a caregiver's perspective, for me, it's so inspiring to work with someone who really sees the body not as a separate aspect to the rest of the person and even the soul, if you will, but as like a complete whole. And even though Mary Jo has suffered this injury where in a lot of cases people will just reject the body and treat it, as Mary Jo says, an inert mass. In her case, because she comes to this with a background in yoga and certainly a lot of understanding about body mechanics and energetic work, she has been able to approach her whole care and rehabilitation in a very different way than anything I've ever seen before. She described to me how, for her, the body has an intelligence, and that it is entirely capable of kind of going on its own healing path, if you will, and that what she does is she responds to the messages that her body gives her, and she works with that. And she tries out various different types of personal rehabilitation, different types of therapies, and to me it's just astonishing to see and even feel how that is to work with someone like that, because I never have the sense with Mary Jo that she's sort of stuck in a place. Like a lot of people that I've worked with who have spinal cord injury and they're in a wheelchair, it seems like they have a sense that they're not very mobile. They can move in this mechanical chair or be pushed around, but they don't feel that they even have a lot of control over even the mobility of their life and the direction it's going. And for Mary Jo, she just comes into it with a completely different ideology.
And what do you, like, in a day-to-day sort of format, how do you see it being different than other care that you've given? So, just for instance, why do you think that this is working, and what do we do on a day-to-day basis that's different? Okay,
well, first of all, Mary Jo makes movement a part of her daily routine in as many ways as she possibly can. And all of those types of movement, what I've witnessed is that they're very much focused on rehabilitation as opposed to just, some people who have disabilities are really out to be able to, say, perform daily activities, and they're sort of challenging themselves and oftentimes hurting themselves doing that. And it's not really about listening to the body and working with it and helping the body become more fluid and comfortable. It's really about proving something, that they can do this thing no matter what it takes. So for Mary Jo, she's starting her day with movement, with stretching, with this rehabilitation that as a caregiver we do for often, an hour or two every morning. That's how she wakes up. So she's right away bringing movement into the body, bringing circulation into the body, and stretching and opening things up. And even the kind of conversations that ensue during that process is totally different from someone who's just meeting their day with, I have to get through another day.
And were the exercises easy for you to learn? Like, was, as a caregiver, obviously maybe you've done these kind of some of these things before, but you came into a whole new set of different needs and kind of interpretations of what movement might be, and physio might be, and we taught you them within the first 3 days, and you were doing them no problem, it seemed.
Yes.
Even in a body like mine, who's it's not an easy body to work with, is it? It's a challenging body. It's not from the perspective of it being inert, but it's very lively.
Yes,
so it has a lot of
exactly.
feedback. So and you overcame that very easily, just learning sort of a few simple techniques, it seemed. So it's very replicable.
It's
what we're doing.
It's very replicable,
Okay.
and it seems as though it doesn't take much to bring a few basic types of stretches and movement therapies, and you feel as a caregiver, I start out in the morning moving her legs, say for example in a circle, and within 10 or 15 minutes the stiffness and potentially the spasms that are there are already shifting and loosening up. Yeah. And so you can just feel how that's going to translate throughout the entire day. Someone who is starting off a day like that is going to have a much more enjoyable experience throughout their life, quality of life.
Nice. Thanks. And also, on that note, and because you've been here sort of following me around for the last 3 weeks, and I do have quite a passion for this type of work being available to all people in wheelchairs, whether they're spinal cord or not, people that seem to have no options for rehabilitation or movement, which is largely anybody with a different ability. And on that note, you've sort of been exposed to some of the work that I'm doing at GF Strong and other places like Blue Swan Spinal Cord Center. What's your sentiment about what you saw there? And this was your first visit to GF Strong, and how did you feel after that?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. And I have heard about GF Strong from different clients over the years. And to be quite honest, I was surprised at what I saw there when we went to visit. Not so much in terms of anything remarkable that was happening. It was more an absence of what was happening. So it really felt very empty. There didn't feel like there was a lot of cohesion between the different systems, like caregivers, nurses, rehabilitation people. It felt like it was very disjointed, and we went to the gym, and the facility seemed quite like run down and neglected, to be quite honest. And so I was surprised to see that, and to learn that there isn't actually a pool for someone with Mary Jo's condition to have access to. And it was just very shocking that there's this big facility that's been around for so long, and it's sounding like, from stories I've heard from clients from years past, that it was better, say 10 or 15 years ago than it is now. So I wonder what's going on with that.
Good. And any parting notes for anybody out there who's either just encountered a spinal cord injury with their family, or someone that's been at it for a while that's frustrated or seems like they're at the end of their road? Any parting comments?
Well, I think that, as a caregiver, there's quite a lot that can be done in terms of developing a personal relationship with the person that you're working with. And, taking direction from someone like Mary Jo, who has been at this now for 8 years and has really worked out so many of the potential problems that a lot of other people with spinal cord injury or other physical disabilities run into. So my parting comment would be to really stay tuned to what Mary Jo is doing, and that I look forward to learning more about what she's going to be sharing with people in the future as well.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, well, that's it for today. Hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, and check in again. Bye-bye.